Hi everyone, this is Jessica Canty. I am your life and career strategist. What does that mean? I have a passion for helping people go from unfulfilled jobs to their dream careers. If this is the first time we're meeting, hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. I just want to say hello to all the people in the Swag Her magazine community. We've been having wonderful welcome. We've been having a conversation all week long, and today is day 5 of our conversation. On Monday, we talked about resumes. Hi, everyone. We talked about resumes, how you've got to have the right tool, have transformational language. Awesome. Hi, everybody. Not task-oriented. And you want to make sure you highlight your transferable skills. On Tuesday, we talked about how to slay your interview. We talked about that there's different types of interviews and what are those challenging questions? How do we answer them? How do we answer them and make sure that we are able to get that job? On Wednesday, we talked about the importance of building your e-board, your executive board. Hi, everybody. On your executive board, your mentor, your role model, your coach, and your sponsor. And yesterday, we talked about your superpower. What is it that makes you unique? How do I begin to develop my elevator speech? That's a recap of what we did this week. If this is the first time you've joined us this week, fear not. You can get caught up on all the information I just shared. You can head over to Swag Her Magazine's page so you can see the live from last night. And you can head over to my YouTube channel. There's a link in my bio. So look me up at Jessica Canty and then click on that bio. And every video, welcome. Every video from this week is there. And you want to go check that out because it's got some powerful information. It's going to get you out of that monotony of your job. That you're not going to feel like you got to drag yourself into the job of your dreams. We're leaving behind unfulfilled jobs in 2019. 2020, we are going to walk into our careers, walk into our entrepreneurship with a bold passion and purpose. So you want to go check out those videos. So let me wrap up our administrative conversation. The other thing, I made a few announcements the other night, and I want to make sure everyone hears it here today. Next week, I will be sending out emails with worksheets and assignments to help you with the lessons that I taught this week. So you want to make sure that you are on my list. How do you get on my list? Go ahead and send me your email address. You can send it to me direct messenger, or you can send it to Swag Her Magazine, and it'll make sure I get your email address. Or you can email me directly. I'm Jessica Canty at jessicacanty.com. Again, you want to get these emails because they're going to be the guide, if you will, to make sure that you are leaving those unfulfilled jobs behind. I don't want you all to feel like I'm bored again. I'm overworked and underpaid. I need a better salary. I'm not appreciated. Welcome. I don't want that for you all in 2020. We're going to change that narrative for you. Okay. And then another announcement that I made. On Wednesday, November 20th at 7 p.m., I'm hosting a workshop. And I sure hope that you're going to be there. The workshop is called 5 Secrets Working Professionals Need to Know to Leave Their Unfulfilled Job and Step into Their Dream Career. Hi, everybody. I sure appreciate you joining us for our conversation this afternoon. So you want to be a part of that workshop. You don't have to wait till then to reserve your spot. Go over there right now. Well, no, not right now. Wait till after we finish chatting. Go over to my page and it's right in my bio. You can click to get your tickets for our workshop. It'll be conveniently online and we get to sit and chat and interact with each other to make sure you're ready to step into that job. Hi, everybody. I sure am happy to see you all joining me this afternoon. So today's conversation are the top 5 business etiquette skills. Why am I talking about business etiquette skills? And what is etiquette all about? It's not all about tea and crumpets. It's not all about wearing gloves and hats and tuxedos. No, etiquette is knowing the right behavior for the right time. Did you catch that? Very simply, etiquette is knowing the right behavior at the right time. And I alluded to in our earlier conversations that a lot of people miss out on opportunities, not for lack of talent, not for lack of credentials, not for lack of education, but because they don't know how to behave properly. They don't know how to represent their company properly. They don't know how to represent the product that they have for their customers properly. And so a lot of people miss out on opportunities. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I don't want that for you all. I want you all to be able to represent yourself so that people say, who is that person? We need them on this project. How do we get their promotion started right now? We'll give them whatever salary they want because they represent us well. So happy to see you all. So let's jump into it. Our top 5 business etiquette skills. Now, I'm going to list them 1 through 5, but each of them are equally important. Thank you for the love. I know that means I'm giving you good information that you need. I'm not listing them in any list of importance. Each and every one of them can make or break your career. So I want you to pay attention. Get your notebook, get your pen ready. If you got your lunch in front of you, make sure you're able to type some notes up and make sure you're able to send me your email address. So the first tip in business etiquette is you have to have boss-like behavior. Now, I know the trending thing on social media is girl boss this, and I'm an entrepreneur that, and I sign my own paychecks, and I can take a picture of myself on the beach because I sign my own paychecks. But a lot of people don't understand what that truly means to have boss-like behavior. Because you have to have behavior like a boss before you can become a boss. So before you go out and buy that mug that says boss, let me tell you what that boss-like behavior is. You need to behave like management before you become management. You need to behave like the CEO of a company before you get the title. And some of the behavior that is going to get in the way of you becoming a boss is you're not on time. If you're not on time for work, if you're late, you're way past being on time. The work can't be done until you show up. So punctuality is key. Let me be very clear about what punctuality means. If your job says you need to be at work by 9, getting to your desk at 9, you're already late. You're already late. They mean that work begins at 9 a.m. So your face needs to be at your desk or needs to be showing up for your customers. If you tell your customers or your clientele, our event starts at 10, you shouldn't be pulling up when they pull up. You should be already in your seat, prepared for work at the time that they say 9 a.m. That's good stuff right there. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a hair salon, I've scheduled an appointment, and my hairdresser came in late. Or I've gone to an event, I'm ready to learn this training, and the trainer is walking in the room at the same time I am. It affected how I saw them. It affected whether or not I thought they were a professional. So if you truly want to be a boss, you've got to be there. So a little bit of a challenge I want to present to you all is I want for you all next week, show up 15 minutes earlier for your job and leave 15 minutes later. Why is that? Because that's what bosses do. Most times when you come into the office, your boss is already there. Most times when you're ready to leave in the afternoon, they're probably still there. So you want to get yourself ready for that. You still can maintain a good work-life balance, but use that 15 minutes when you first get in the morning to plan your day. At the extra 15 minutes you have at the end of the day, assess your progress for that day and prep for the day tomorrow. I promise you, this is going to show up as a professional, and you're going to be known as always being ready for your next level of promotion. So what is boss-like behavior? Boss-like behavior means that I'm going to under-promise and over-deliver. Under-promise, but over-deliver. So if I'm on a project, I'm not going to say I can do the whole alphabet. I'm going to tell them, hey, I can do A through J, and I'm going to be able to do it by this deadline. But I'm going to wow them by giving them the whole alphabet and the time under the deadline or meeting the deadline, never exceeding it. So you always want to under-promise and over-deliver. Don't say you can do something you can't do, because then that shows that you don't have integrity. And you want to make sure you're giving updates. So if things need to be adjusted, you can update your team. You can update your client. Don't wait till the deadline to say, oh yeah, this is why I couldn't do it. Oh yeah, this is why we couldn't be successful. Stay in constant communication so that you are over-delivering when it's time for the deadline. A little more boss-like behavior. You got to be careful about gossip. You have to stay away from that gossip. You can't engage in it. You can't deliver it. You can't sit around and listen to it. I used to get made fun of at my job because as soon as I got to my desk, I would put my headphones on. And sometimes I wouldn't even listen to anything, but I called them my nonsense blockers. Everybody needs a pair. Get yourself a pair of nonsense blockers. I was able to hone in on my assignments, focus on the work that I needed to do, didn't pay attention to the office drama that was going on around me, and in less than 10 years, I put myself on a fast track to make $50,000 more than what I did when I got there. So what I'm telling you is going to give you results. Get those nonsense blockers and stay away from office gossip, because people are not going to trust you with the secrets of the agency. They're not going to trust you with need to know information of their company if you're sitting around talking about colleagues. And so you got to be careful. And I have a series on my page talking about the office characters. And one of those office characters is Whispering Will. Whispering Will. And Whispering Will has his finger on the pulse of everything that happens in the office because he's gossiping. But you have to be very careful about how you communicate with them. You want to leave your personal life at home. You know what? You don't have to wait 10 years. You most definitely don't have to wait 10 years. I'm just saying I've had longevity at my job. I actually made $50,000 more in less than 10 years. But I now, after 10 years being in my position, I made $50,000 more than what I did when I came in. And went up in promotion. Within 1 year, I made $40,000 more. So it's just a matter of applying the principles that I'm teaching you all, and you can make a severe or an actual jump and leap in your salary. Okay? So the other thing I want you to make sure that you're doing is use resources for the intended purposes. What does that mean? That means if you are issued a cell phone, if you are issued a laptop, if you're issued a company car, it should be used for company purposes. Your cell phone is not for Instagram if they give it to you for work. That's not what it's for. It's not for taking selfies. It's to do the business that they ask you to do. Your laptop is not to shop on Amazon. Your laptop is not to print off your kids' a science fair project. And the agency car is not for you to go grocery shopping. Use it for its intended use, because you always want to be in good standing with your employers. It's the same thing for entrepreneurs. Use the funds to invest in your business. Once you grow your business, you can pay yourself a salary, but you've got to invest in giving high quality services to your clients. They don't want to see you walking around with the latest trend or the latest thing in technology, but yet you're giving them poor service. So you really want to make sure that you're making the investment and use it for its intended use. So that's tip number 1, have boss-like behavior. Tip or skill number 2 is to dress the part. This is so very critical. Especially because the workplace is increasingly becoming more and more casual. You can walk into a building and see everything from a sweatsuit to a 3-piece suit. People are coming on a Wednesday in sweatpants that they've had since they were in high school. And on Friday, they're dressing up in their club attire because I guess they're getting ready for the night after work. So you've got to know how to dress the part. It's important that you understand the culture of your agency. Understand it, and then you want to set a standard for it. So let's just say my profession as a whole tends to be more casual. So it's perfectly natural for people to wear jeans and sneakers on a Friday to work. But if you're a government contractor, that's still unacceptable. You still need to have a jacket on, gentlemen. You still need to have slacks on. Maybe not a full suit on a Friday, but you need to have a jacket and a collared shirt. Perhaps you could forego a tie on a Friday, but you still need to be able to do a company briefing. If you have to go before the press and talk about what your company is doing, you need to be able to represent them. And the same for the ladies. You might want to invest in a more casual type of dress, but always want to toss on a cardigan to make that still look presentable and polished. So it's important to know what outfit am I supposed to wear for what event. Now, a part of my plan to make sure that I was accelerating my career was I set a standard for each event that my job required. If I was interacting with my clients in the community, I had attire that made them feel comfortable, but I also allowed them to know that I was a professional. So I made sure that my business casual clothing was non-transferable. What does that mean? If you are wearing to work what you can wear to the mall, that's not business casual. If you're wearing to work what you can wear to the beach, that's not business casual. If you're wearing to work what you can wear to your kid's soccer game, basketball game, that's not business casual. You should show up looking like you're coming to work. Because very similar to what we talked about on interviews, the day we talked about interviews, is that your outfit affects your attitude. So if I'm coming in my beat up tennis shoes or the sweatshirt I've had back since college, and it's got stains and rips and things like that, it feels comfortable, but it's telling my brain to be too relaxed, and I'm not going to be alert to opportunities. So you really want to make sure that your attire, that you're dressing the part. Do you have the appropriate welcome? Do you have the appropriate after 5 attire? Do you have pieces that can be transferable? So not only should your skills be transferable, but your closet should be transferable. Can I toss on a different jacket and go to, thanks for the thumbs up, can I change up my jacket and go to the company event after 5 and still represent? One of the things that I teach my pageant coaches when I coach them, is I say, will it pass the TV test? The TV test is, a lot of the people I coach have to go on media. So they may have to promote an event. So I have to prepare them to be on television. I have to prepare them to be on social media platforms. And I tell them, when you walk out of your room, if someone were to stick a camera and a microphone in your face, would you be properly attired to represent your university? Would you be properly attired to represent the organization that you are a queen of? And that's the same thing for the kings that I coach. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Does your attire reflect the mission and values of that company? Does it reflect the mission and values of your own company? So you really want to be mindful of that. And I'm saying this because what's very popular is fast fashion. And so it's inexpensive, but it's trendy. So a lot of people can afford it, and they feel like because it's in the store and it sort of looks business-like, that it's appropriate. If it's too form-fitting, it's not business appropriate. That goes for men and women, because now the trend is those European style suits, and they're very, very tight fitting to the body. And for women, the bodycon dresses, the bodycon skirts, there's a right time and place for it. And if you're going in the boardroom, that's not the right time and place for it. If you're in government positions, that's not the right time and place for it. Even if everybody around you is dressing like that, you've got to set the standard. So I was sharing you all, I had a wardrobe for when I was working with my clients. I had a wardrobe for when I would go to training, which came in handy because, like I shared with you all, my role model became my mentor, became my sponsor, and became my boss, all after I sat in one of her classes. I presented as a professional in her class. A lot of people become laxed when they go to classes. So they're going to come in jeans and a sweatshirt. But I made sure I stood out. So when I approached her, I said to her, I would like for you to be my mentor. And I looked the part. I looked the part of somebody that she would want to invest in. So tip number 1 is to have boss-like behavior. Tip number 2 is to dress the part. Tip number 3 is to announce your leadership. What does that mean? When you walk in a room, people should know this is somebody. I'm not sure who they are, but I know just the way they walked in, there's somebody. I need to pay attention to who they are. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. So what does that mean? How do you show up without being brash or disruptive, but make your presence known? 1, you have to know how to introduce yourself. We talked a little bit about your superpower yesterday. We talked a little about elevator speech. But a lot of people don't understand the customs that allow somebody to know that you respect the position that they're in. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. So if you're being introduced to somebody new, you need to stand. You may need to remember those 5 S's. I didn't create them, but I live by them. The 5 S's. The first S is to stand. Don't sit down. Even if you're in a casual environment, stand up. You want to make sure, absolutely, I like the atmosphere should change when you walk in the room because of the way you carry yourself, because of how you command those space. So when you walk into the room and you're being introduced to people, or you're introducing yourself, the first thing is if you're seated, you need to stand up. If you're already standing, you need to shift. So that first S is depending on if you're seating or standing. So if you're seated, you need to stand. If you're standing, you need to shift. You need to face the person you're being introduced to, because for all you know, that can be a potential sponsor. For all you know, you need to, that might be a potential client. That might be a potential boss. So first S, stand or shift. The second S is to smile. I did a video about smiling, and I talked about how it can handle crises, but it also can give you a moment to collect yourself to be able to introduce yourself. It's important for both men and women. Once you stood, smile. It goes a long way. Now that you stood, and you're smiling, the next thing you need to do is to shake. I'm going to have to do a tutorial, and I think I'm going to post a video about how to shake hands, because people know a lot about your character based on how you shake hands. I promise you. You'd be surprised how many people are like, I don't get a good feeling about them because of the way they shook my hand. Or they may say, it's just something about them. I'm not quite sure that I want to open up this opportunity. And it really was your handshake. You don't want to do that lobster claw handshake where your hand is like this and it's being connected with somebody like this and you're gripping their hand. You also don't want to grip somebody's hand so hard that they're like, ow, my hand hurts. The important thing you want to do with a handshake is that you want to connect the webs of your fingers with the other person's hand. And you also want to make sure you don't hold on too long, because if you hold on to their hand too long, you can seem creepy. And I don't want that to happen for you all. I always give the rule when I teach this: you want to do 1, 2, 3 pumps and let go. And you want to keep eye contact at all times. You don't want to be too far away from the person where they have to stretch out like this. You want to be able to bend your arm comfortably, webbing and webbing. 1, 2, 3, and let go. There you go. There's your shake. Because I'm already smiling. I'm already shifted facing the person. Welcome. And I'm giving them a professional handshake. You can leave all the special handshakes, if you've got a special way you do something with your family members, a special way you greet your family members, save that for the personal. But in the professional, you want to do that professional handshake. Okay, so we stand and or shift, we smile, we shake, and then we say. That's when you introduce yourself. You want to be mindful of how you introduce yourself. And on the emails, I'm going to tell you all about how to introduce others, because that's a powerful way to begin networking and net connecting. So if you want information on how you can introduce others and introduce people to your circle of influence in order to widen your circle of influence, it's important that you send me your email address, because I'm going to send that information. And I want you to have that information. This is where you introduce yourself. So you're going to pull from our conversation yesterday. Check it out on YouTube. Check it out on Swag Her Magazine. Hello. And introduce yourself. So if I'm shaking my hand, I'll say, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Jessica Canty. I'm a life and career strategist. I'm taking this training to fine-tune my skills to help transform people's life. Why are you here? I would love to get to know you. I'm giving you something about who I am. I'm telling you why I'm here. I'm getting your ear to perk up as to how you can make a connection with me. But I'm not just going to shake your hand and say, oh, hi, I'm Joe Robinson, and sit down. No, I want to make that connection with you. Again, be very careful when you're introducing yourself. You still only want to do 1, 2, 3, pump and let go, because what happens is that sometimes people get nervous and they're still talking while they're shaking. And this is distracting, right? Even me doing this. So you don't want to do that. You want to do 1, 2, 3, let go. Introduce yourself. So you're going to stand and or shift. You're going to smile. You're going to say your introduction. Then you're going to smile again. And you're going to make sure that you say the person's name. What's business etiquette for funk? Oh, that's a good one. That's the next one I'm going to talk about. I've got that for net etiquette. That's actually one of my rules. So thank you so much for talking about that, because that's actually one of the next skills we're going to talk about. So you want to announce your leadership. That's what you do. You do the 5 S's. Again, I didn't create them, but I live by them. Make sure you're doing them. The next step, which is actually somebody asked me the question, so I'm so glad you said this, it's a great transition, is net etiquette. Now, certain agencies and companies will give you a script as to what you should say on your voicemail. They will give you a script as to what you should put in your email block. but you should have an established standard for how you communicate with people when they're not talking to you live, when they're not face to face with you, when they're not on a live, when they're not in the same space as you. You need to have a standard. Hello, hello, hello. So you want to make sure that you have a signature block. Be very careful about this. So when you're sending out emails, you need to have an effective form of communication in that signature block. Now, I've seen this signature block get really crazy. I've seen it be 10 lines long. No, we want to get straight to the point. We want to know your name, your title. We want to know your phone number. If you have any social media contacts that we can look up your work on, go right ahead. For some real estate agents or some people in the collegiate realm, you may put a little small picture of yourself there, but you want to make sure it's not crowded. Depending on how many things that you put on there, you can even put on there a quote. But I always say 5 and no more. The rule of 5. It works with accessories and it works with a signature block. So when I teach my classes about a professional attire, I say 5 and no more accessories. So if I've got a watch, like today I've got a watch, a bracelet, and 2 bracelets and earrings on. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No more jewelry. Same thing with your email block. 5 and no more. So put pertinent information in there and put valid and current information. Don't put information on there that doesn't reflect you. So someone asked me about my website information. My website is currently under construction. So I'm going to make sure I point people into the best way to communicate with me and the fastest route of communication with me. So for right now, the fastest way to communicate with me is my email address and my social media platforms. Until my website is up to my standard, I want to make sure they see what image I'm projecting. I want to make sure that they're able to get a sense that they're working with a coach who cares about their transformation. So the same thing for you. Don't put your website in that line and it's an account that you only spent $5 a month on and you haven't updated it since January. Don't put that in there just because you want to say you have a website. Unless you are updating your website, don't put it in there. Don't send traffic there because it's going to look as if you're not professional and current. The other thing I want to talk about is telephone etiquette. A lot of offices now have open design. What does that mean? They've got ceilings that don't quite look like they're completed. They've got cubicle nation. They've got offices with paper thin walls. And so if you get on the phone and you're scheduling a doctor's appointment, everybody around you knows why you're scheduling a doctor's appointment. Everybody around you knows that you're going through marital problems. Everyone around you knows that that you are paying your bills over the phone. So you really want to be mindful of what you talk about on the phone. If this is a personal conversation, hi everybody, you want to go find a space for a personal conversation. Let me be very clear about that. 1, you should leave the personal for the personal. But if it's a pressing matter, because life happens, I'm a parent, I get it. And so I know that sometimes things happen at work I have to address for my child. So I will get up and I will go find a personal space and I will say, I'm only going to give myself 5 minutes to make this call and go back. Now, if I'm training, I won't do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I make sure I have a plan in place for emergencies for my child. But a lot of times people will say it's a personal matter and they will go outside and it's 20 minutes later and you're still on the phone. You're talking with your girlfriend about what you're going to do this evening, or you're talking with somebody about a birthday party that you're planning. So telephone etiquette states that you have a great greeting. Oh, also somebody said for phone interview. Great question. I talked a little bit about pre-screening on our interview conversation on Tuesday. So you want to go check out that video on YouTube. But I talked about how you treat it like it's a face-to-face interview. And you want to make sure that you are in a space where you can give them your full attention and you won't be interrupted. So most HR representatives, if they're giving you a phone interview, it's their job to ask, is this a good time for you? If you know you're around a lot of people and it's not a good time for you, schedule another time where you could be away from people. Make sure you are in a good cell phone reception area. If you're at home, make sure you don't have a distraction from any other people that live with you. And you want to treat the phone interview as if it's a face-to-face interview. Even if that means you need to put on a blazer or something to get your mind right that you are doing a phone interview. It's important that you have paper and pen in front of you so you can write down notes on what they're saying. I also suggest you to have your resume in front of you if you're doing a phone interview. So if they ask you any questions, you can refer back to what you wrote on your resume, or if they ask you something about some specific skill you wrote on there, you know exactly what they're talking about. You want to make sure you answer their questions clearly and deliberately because they may be recording it or there may be more than one person listening to your answers. You want to have no television on in the background. If you've got pets or animals, make sure you're far away from them so they're not barking and meowing to interrupt your conversation. But for even more tips on phone interviews and all different types of interviews, check out, go straight to my page. I've got the link to my YouTube channel, and that's an awesome question. I'm so glad you said that about that phone interview because it's right in line with phone etiquette. And that is that you want to have a personal greeting. So this is something I learned from my father. Wonderful. I'm so glad that you guys think this is great information. My father has a greeting even for his personal home. And hearing him say that taught me how to behave when I'm at work. Both my father and mother had two things that I appreciate and I use in my career. My dad, when you call his home, he says, this is some blank, fill in the blank residence, your last name residence. This is so-and-so speaking. So I'll give it a shot like this. Canty residence, this is Jessica speaking. How may I help you? Even if it's a personal number, your personal phone. This sets the tone that this person can trust what you have to say. And what my mom did was she could always tell the pitch of her voice and the language that she used when she would get on the phone. So if she was on the phone with a family member, she might have a joking tone or a more jovial tone. She could laugh and crack up laughing with us. And I actually used to poke fun at her. I would call her business phone just to hear her give me the business greeting. And she would say, good morning. I'm going to pretend like my mom has the same thing. She would say, good morning, Jessica Canty speaking. How may I help you? I'm sorry, I'm busy at the moment, even for personal things. So if I could tell my mom was in a meeting, I'm sorry, that's a pressing matter. I can't give my attention at this moment. I'll be able to reach back with you around 4:00. Will you be available then? So they don't know that she's talking to her daughter. They don't know that she's talking to a personal friend of hers. She's always keeping that professional persona up because the company hiring her wants to know that she can do that at all times. So whether it's a phone interview or you're at your desk, again, people don't know who you are over the phone. They don't know your face. They don't know that you're professionally tired and you have business behavior until they hear you speak. And don't forget to smile. I know they don't see you on the phone, but it picks up across the phone whether or not you're smiling. So let's see. Okay, so I talked about your I didn't talk about social media. I know this is probably anti-2019, and I'm probably saying something that's so anti-millennial, but leave social media for home and on your breaks. It is so tacky when I walk past break room areas and people are posing for selfies and people are taking pictures in spaces that you can tell that they are at work and it's not work related. And so you want to be mindful of that. I teach an ethics course and I talk about how people lose jobs or miss out on opportunities because of their behavior on social media. Now, if you want to post a picture of you being scantily clad, I'm not knocking it. Do what you do. But just know that you may miss out on an opportunity. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So glad you're in this space with us. So be careful about what you post on social media because you guys know it lives forever. No matter how many times you hit the delete button, no matter how many times you shut down and restart an account, it never leaves. And I'm so grateful for change. I hope my accounts from when I was a young adult changes too. And so I had to make those changes and I had to make them knowing that this was going to impact my future. So I'm only sharing with you all what I did because I don't want anybody to go on social media platforms and get a different image of who I am when they see me in person. So that's a part of your net etiquette. That's tip number 4. And our last tip, rounding out our conversation, is to be a team player. What does that mean? That means think of all the other members on your team when you're making decisions about your behavior. Always move in wisdom. Hi, everybody. Thank you for that love. Move in wisdom. Let me tell you what that means. If you've got a smelly lunch, Don't bring that to the cafeteria or the break room area. Leave that smelly lunch for dinner. I mean, it's so funny because it seems like some of the most delicious meals are the most pungent, if you will. So if you are a seafood fan, I would suggest not having seafood for lunch. One, because a lot of people have seafood allergies, and just smelling it or them putting their food in the microwave after you can make them have an allergic reaction. And then two, because it seems like seafood seems to linger because of how pungent the smell is. So if you like seafood, leave it for breakfast and leave it for dinner. Don't bring it in the workplace. Or if you know, like I like to eat a lot of raw veggies, and sometimes raw broccoli doesn't smell the best. So I make sure that I go enjoy my lunch outside or my snack outside so that my smelly lunch or my smelly snack doesn't affect other people. And don't leave food in the refrigerator that will smell. You want to make sure you toss that out. A lot of companies now either don't have a refrigerator or have a regular cleaning process because people are just not caring about others that are using that community space. So move in wisdom. Thank you so much for that, love you all. And having a smelly desk or a disorganized desk. Now, you might say, this is my space and nobody needs to step into my cubicle, but it can be an eyesore. So you really want to be mindful about how you keep your desk space. Now, I teach a course on emotional safety, and I also teach a course on ethics. And they both have to deal with how we decorate our cubicle and our office space. If I create a space that makes me want to show up for my job and makes me passionate about the work, I'm more than likely to come to work. So I'll tell you, what inspires me is I love all things glittery. So if anybody wants to give me a birthday gift, my birthday's next week. I like things that are glittery. I like things that are shiny and bright and girly, and give me some pearls, give me some diamond-y type, glittery type things. I like that in my space. I also like to put up pictures of my daughter in my space because she's a motivation for me to keep doing the work that I do. So I will put those things up in my space, but I've got to have an organized system for all the curriculum that I write and all the curriculum. Hey, yeah, shout out to all that glitter. It just makes makes life great. My grandmother gave me a gift that says some girls are just born with glitter in their soul. And I said, yeah, grandma, that's me. You know, that's me. So I purchase organizational tools to make sure that all the curriculum I deliver is easily accessible. And if I'm out of the office, a colleague can go and get what they need, and it's easy accessible for them. So invest in organizational skills, and I can help with those. And also invest in putting things that make you smile in your cubicle, because sometimes even our passion and motivation can wane. And sometimes we need reminders of what we do and why we do what we do. So you want to make sure that your desk space, again, represents everything. Welcome that your agency represents. And you want to participate in company activities. So many people will sit out on company activities. Let's say your company, especially like some companies will do it in the summertime, they'll have like a company picnic, or now we're in November, your company may be doing like harvest meals or fall activities. Maybe in December, they may do a holiday celebration. They may do like birthday celebrations for colleagues and things like that. At the company that I contracted with now, they do things like, I think it was like for a couple of weeks during the summertime, every week they had a day where they had people will wear different colors. So something simple I can do to show that I'm a team player. And every time I participated in it, the director of this particular company was in the picture. So I was creating an opportunity to have the director's ear. I'm showing just by wearing that color that they said for me to wear that I am an active member of this company, that I am invested in the mission and values, that I can get along with everybody, that I am a team player just by wearing the color. I mean, it was already in my closet. It's simple for me to wear that color. So be a team player. Now, I'm not asking you all to go out and spend a lot of money on things in order to do that. But if it's something simple like we're going to do a $5 gift exchange, go to your local dollar store, go to your local discount store, and pick up a cute little gift. Pick up a nice little gift for somebody, because that shows that you're invested in the work. I've seen plenty of people that will say, I'm not going to participate in that. And you know what? People will either ignore you when it's time for promotion. They definitely won't remember your name. but they will remember your name if you're participating. Okay, so let's wrap up our conversation because I know you all have got to be punctual. Back to your desks, back to your clients. Our top 5 skills in business etiquette are: 1, have boss-like behavior. Number 2, dress the part. Have a standard. Dress to the position you want before you get the position that you want. Number 3 is to announce your leadership. Know how to introduce yourself. Don't forget those 5 S's. Stand or shift. You want to smile, shake, say, and smile again. Net etiquette. Your social media profile goes before you. Make sure it truly represents you. And lastly, be a team player. Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm grateful that this is great information for you all. That's exactly what I was going to ask. If this is good information for you all, let me know. So I'm seeing all these hearts and waving and all this good stuff. So I know I'm amongst my people, and I'm amongst the people who are ready for career acceleration, who are ready to stop having to do mundane and monotonous things that don't highlight your skills, who are ready to change your profession, who are ready to transform people's lives for the gifts that you give. And I'm so happy for that. So I'm going to wrap up our conversation today by saying today is the last day. But fear not, you can check out everything I talked about this week on YouTube. And you can get even more information about what I shared and begin your work by sending me your email. Thank you so much, Sing. It's a great teaching. Send me your email. You can send it to Swag Her Magazine, or you can send it to Jessica Canty. And my email is jessicacanty@jessicacanty.com. Again, that's jessicacanty@jessicacanty.com. I sure hope I see your email because I want to make sure you got what you need. Until next time, friends, don't forget to check out my page for your tickets to our workshop. It's in 2 weeks. So get to working on the worksheets and then be ready. Make sure your face is in this space. I'll make sure I pop back on here to remind you. I'll see you all soon. Have a good weekend.